Oyez, oyez, oyez. This hereby opens the royal court of their majesties, Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of Atenveldt.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Those of you that are sticking it out with us in another virtual court. Quite a few things have gone on as of late. There has been some talk, and we did make a post on Facebook, but some of the Phoenix parks have decided to reopen, and there was some question, and for those of you that didn't see our post, we are still following the guidelines of the BOD, and we're still staying closed officially as the SCA. We're aware that there are private practices happening, and I wouldn't try to stop that because that's private. It has nothing to do with the SCA, and as long as it remains as such, that'll be fine. But we can't have anything official with the SCA's name on it as long as we're closed. Your Highnesses, did you want to throw out some words before we move on?
We would love to. First of all, I would like to thank Sir Valora for making us some lovely new garments, and Mistress Ashaxi from Ontir for making us these delightful Scythian hats. So I just wanted to say thank you to them for their kind gifts. And then also, we definitely side with their majesties in making sure that we continue to stay reserved on our want of getting together in person, just because our state is still near 700 cases a day, and we don't want to end up being some crazy super spreader event. So we thank everybody for their caution in getting together and being responsible.
Surprise, it's my turn to talk. I feel like I should.
Why is it always a surprise? You should know. Morgan does this to you every time.
I think, daydreaming just a little bit. No, again, kind of just on top of what everyone else is saying. Thank you everyone for continuing to be safe and not making us a headline for COVID or for other reasons. It's still awesome to see people are getting together online and working together, and it's just cool. And I think you guys are doing a great job with what we can in the kind of time frame and era that we are in. So thanks, everyone. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Their majesties have business with Mauve.
She's maybe a newer player, I would say. She's been, well, newer to me. My apologies. She's been playing since 2012, so for a hot minute. But known in the barony of Sundragon specifically for all of the largesse that she creates, not just for the barony, but for the kingdom as well, and for the barony of Ered Sul too, because sharing is caring. And so today we would like to recognize you as a lady.
Let it be known to all who come to see and hear these letters, know that the Crown of Atenveldt sends greetings. It has come to our notice that our loyal subject Mauve has, through great and tireless service, brought honor and glory to our kingdom. Today, reward them with an award of arms, done on this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, which is also called 2020, Morgan King, Elizabeth Queen. 3 cheers for this newest lady of Atenveldt. Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah! Their majesties desire the presence of Rainulf Leon.
Many of you know Rainulf for his fighting, but there's so much more to this individual. Year after year, he assists with setup and tear down, standing guard. He did nearly 24 hours straight guard watch at Celestria, and this individual shines like a beacon.
Duty know all who hear or see these words, that our faithful subject, Rainulf Leon, has served our kingdom with honor and dedication, devoting tireless hours volunteering wherever there was need. His selfless service so enriches our realm that we, Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of all Atenveldt, do hereby admit him as a companion of the Order of the Beacon of the Desert, done by our hand on this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, being 2020 in the Gregorian year, Morgan King, Elizabeth Queen. 3 cheers for this newest beacon of the desert. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
So, as we've been navigating these really weird times that won't quit being weird, we've found that there's a ton of online content out there, not just from our kingdom, but from kingdoms around the known world. And so we want to encourage everybody to check it out and, watch the interviews that are being done or the classes that are being taught, the various shows around the known world. There's some really good content out there. And I know it's been posted to the Kingdom website, or rather the Kingdom Facebook page, but there is a known world entertainment guide. It's like TV guide for those of us that remember that, but for all of the online content around the known world, and it's by day, and it comes out every week, just like the TV guide. So take a look at it and check out some online content.
Their Majesties have business with Lucia de Brock.
This individual participated as a marshal in training at Estrella, worked constantly at the archery field from setup to teardown, and for all of that service, we make her a star of the desert.
It is known far and wide that Estrella War is a place for friends, fun, learning, and celebration. It would not be possible without the service and tireless efforts of the volunteers. To honor such, we have the Order of the Star of the Desert, which we now bestow upon Lucia de Brock, to be known as the Companion Ghouls, done on this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, being called 2020. Morgan King, Elizabeth Queen. 3 cheers for this new Star of the Desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Your Majesties, I believe Her Excellency Baroness Sigrid has an announcement she wished to make.
Hey, y'all. I wanted to make a quick announcement on behalf of Lady Finna. There is another Symposium coming up. It will be the Atenveldt Heraldry and Bardic Symposium. It'll be on Saturday, October 24th. There's a lot of different classes. There's some on performing arts. There's some on heraldry, heraldic display. There's a lot on actually sign language in the SCA, silent heraldry, which is really cool. So I encourage you to check it out. Saturday, October 24th, 9:30 a.m. to 5-ish p.m. There's more information on the Book of Faces, and it should also be going out in the Kingdom listserv through social media. So thank you.
Their Majesties would see Valdis Skarpa.
So this lovely lady is very well known for her arts around the kingdom. But what maybe folks don't recognize is how much work she does to ensure that arts can be enjoyed. She has run collegiums and competitions. She was the royalty liaison deputy to Her Excellency Golda at war, and that's a serious job right there. But she's been emergency deputy ANS minister for the Barony of Atenveldt for 3 years. And she's currently the Kingdom Emergency Deputy ANS Minister, and for all of her tireless efforts to promote the arts and to make sure that we all can enjoy them, we would like to recognize her today as a beacon of the desert.
Let all come and hear these words of our King and Queen, Morgan and Elizabeth, as they proclaim one Valdis Skarpa as a companion of the Order of the Beacon of the Desert, done on this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, being 2020 in the Common Era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest beacon of the desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Their Majesties would see Ansel of Atenveldt.
So this individual, while being helpful whenever he can, he was also the Estrella War Gatebook editor, and he was one of the main developers of the Estrella War app that everybody was so happy with. And he's already planning ways to make it more useful in the future. And for that, we will bestow upon him an award of arms.
Be it known to those who come to see and hear these words that our loyal subject, Ansel of Atenveldt, has through diverse great efforts brought such renown to our fair kingdom that today we wish to bestow upon them an award of arms. done by our hand on this 10th day of October, Annus Societatis 55, which may also call 2020. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest Lord of Atenveldt. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah!
So we had a Bardic challenge that just wrapped up at the end of September. Hopefully you all got to see it and kind of read the stories that folks were coming up with. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, essentially all it was is I threw out a couple of starts to stories, a sentence or a short paragraph to sort of set the stage. And then the task was people would go in and add a sentence or two to change the direction of that storyline and develop characters and what have you. And I can honestly say not a single one of them went the direction that I would have taken it. So it was kind of fascinating to read. So I wanted to thank everybody for their participation in that. And we are, as always, looking for more activities that we can do online. So if you guys have suggestions of things that you think we should try, I mean, we've got a little time, so let us know. And we're happy to get those going and hopefully get everybody entertained.
Their Majesties now have business with Bleddyn Hawk.
So this lovely lady makes a bunch of garb and does some pattern making. She does beautiful embroidery as well as leather work. So she's pretty well rounded as an artist. She just gives her art away. And that generosity needs to be recognized. And so today we would recognize her as a flower of the desert.
Whereas the strength of our kingdom lies in her people, those who create beauty are especially valued for the ambiance they help generate. Let all who see these letters come, that the sovereigns of the kingdom of Atenveldt have heard great tales of the skill and knowledge in the arts and sciences of our subject, Bleddyn Hawk. They have enriched our realm and so inspired others that we are minded to admit them into the order of the flower of the desert. In witness thereof, do we set our hands on this 10th day of October, Annus Societatis 55, being 2020 in the common calendar. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this new flower of the desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Their Majesties desire to see Richard Nial.
Richard is a constant addition to the archery field from setup to tear down. And he also spent a lot of time marshaling and, having to be trained to marshal on the field at Estrella. And we would like to make him a star of the desert today.
To all nobles and gentles reading, hearing, and seeing these words, it is known far and wide that Estrella Ward gathers countless fighters, artisans, merchants, and friends for great fun, learning, and celebration. It would not be possible without the service of all and the tireless efforts of our most beloved subjects. To honor such, we, Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of Atenveldt, bestow the Order of the Star of the Desert upon Richard Nial, to be known as a companion Ghouls, done under our hand on this 10th day of October, Annus Societatis 55, being 2020 in the common era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest star of the desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Their Majesties would speak of Loken Ormison.
So this gentle has been a fixture on the archery field for about a year and a half, that's pretty impressive. That's a lot of early mornings to get up and go out there and help that archery community along. She helps with setup and teardown, but more notably helped with it at war, even though she didn't get to attend war. So drove all the way out there to set up the archery field and then didn't get to play. And so that's really going above and beyond in our eyes. And so today we would like to recognize her as a Lady of Atenveldt.
Hear ye, one and all. The words of the noble crown of Atenveldt. It has come to our notice that our subject, Loken Ormson, has brought glory and honor to our kingdom with their actions. And so today we reward them with an award of arms, done this 10th day of October, Annus Societatis 55, also called 2020, Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for the newest Lady of Atenveldt. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Their Majesties command the presence of Lucius James.
So this individual does so much work and nobody ever gets to see it, except for a choice few of us that work at Astrea and see behind the scenes at events. Between working feasts, he's been regalia at war for the last 2 years, which is, by the way, a thankless job, which means that you're constantly getting up at all hours to run to the Connex to get something for somebody. He's just all around helpful, always has that smile that he's got in that picture on his face, even when I know he's irritated. And he really just shines as a beacon in this kingdom.
Whereas it has come to our notice that our beloved subject, Lucius James, has rendered invaluable service to our realm with honor and dedication, we do therefore admit you into the order of the Beacon of the Desert, this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, being 2020 in the Common Era. Morgan, Rex, Elizabeth, Regina. 3 cheers for this newest Beacon of the Desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah!
So some of you have seen in some of the virtual courts we've done that include this, but all of the investitures are done for now. I think all of the baronies are now staffed with fresh BMBs who are all excited to get back to business as usual. So make sure you reach out to your local BMBs and give them stuff to do.
Their Majesties would meet with Elizabeth the Herbalist.
Elizabeth is a very lovely lady with a great name, obviously. She's been focusing on the medieval ideas of flavor, which that's a difficult thing, especially given our modern palates. And she's been working hard on figuring out how we can bring medieval flavor into our menu items. And she is set up to teach at Kingdom Collegian next year and at Astrea War as well. And for these efforts, we would like to recognize her today as a flower of the desert.
Whereas the strength of our kingdom lies in her people, those who create beauty are valued for the ambiance they help generate. Let all within hearing know that the King and Queen of Atenveldt have heard great tales of the skill and knowledge of Elizabeth the Herbalist. They have enriched our realm and so inspired others that we are minded to admit them into the order of the flower of the desert. In witness thereof, we do set our hands on this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, being 2020 in the Common Era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest flower of the desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! The Majesties have business with Shamus Sinclair.
This is another really hard worker for Astrea War, always with a great attitude, and is just a joy to work with year after year, be it in RV or merchants, etc. And we wish to bestow upon him a Star of the Desert.
Salutations unto all before us. We wish it to be known that we find great pleasure to recognize Shamus Sinclair for his service to Astrea War with a Star of the Desert, Ghouls. On this 10th day of October, Anna Societatis 55, being 2020 in the Common Era. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this new Star of the Desert. Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Hip, hip. Huzzah! Their Majesties would see Gwenfrey de Abergavenny.
This beautiful lady does so many arts, it's ridiculous. She sews, she spins, she makes kumihimo cord, she does photography, she does calligraphy, she does illumination, and she shares it with everybody. She's been a Minister of Arts and Sciences for her barony. She's constantly teaching people one-on-one or in groups, both. And she helps support learning by helping run classrooms during our pandemic virtual collegium. I'm at a loss for words. And so we're just so honored to have you in our kingdom, and we're keeping you, and you don't get to go anywhere. And to keep you here, we're going to make you today a fleur.
To all true and loyal subjects, do we, Morgan, king by right of arms, and Elizabeth, queen of all of Atenveldt, send felicitous greetings. Equity requires and reason ordains that for as much as those who pursue their craft with devotion and diligent service, and with laudable skill in the arts and sciences applied to the glory of Atenveldt, be held in honor to the intent that every person entering into their craft, hearing of their skill and virtue, should apply themselves with all possible diligence to emulate the same. Therefore, with all tender affection that we bear towards Gwenfrey de Abergavenny, do admit her as a companion of the Order of the Fleur de Celestria, that from this day forth her honor and skill shall be known forevermore. In witness thereof do we set our hands this 10th day of October, in the year of the plague, Anno Societatis 55, which is 2020 by the common calendar. Morgan, Rex Atenveltus, Elizabeth Regina. 3 cheers for this newest Fleur de Celestria. Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah!
So with everything going on and people wondering what the status is of the kingdom, as far as our financial status as a kingdom, we're in good shape across the board. There's no need to panic. At this time, corporate is not looking for financial assistance and spending is not frozen, but we just ask that you be cautious, to the baronial exchequers with any of your expenses. If you're looking for ways to help others in need, you can donate to a membership fund or find a worthy charity to help.
Their Majesties would see Celestria Inghean Rioghbhardan.
So Celestria, I know, is also out of town right now. But she has served this kingdom for so long through her photography. She continues to serve even when things are a little sideways in her personal world. And she doesn't necessarily like to be recognized for it too much, but she is a heck of a scribe as well. She has turned out some really stunning pieces. And for all of her contributions to this kingdom, we would like to recognize her today as a light.
In the long years of service, hard work, and dedication that we, Morgan King and Elizabeth Queen of the Kingdom of Atenveldt, wish it to be known that we highly prize those qualities and therefore find great pleasure as we admit our exemplary Celestria Inghean Rioghbhardan as a companion of the Order of the Light of Atenveldt. We do charge our new companion to display and promote the ideals of this honored order. In witness thereof, we do set our hands on this 10th day of October in the year of the Society 55, 2020, as reckoned by the common calendar. Morgan, King, Elizabeth, Queen. 3 cheers for this newest light of the desert. Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah! Their Majesties require before them the presence of Conrad Bombast.
Conrad is quite the force to be reckoned with on the rapier field, and you served as my general this year at war. But you have always been an incredible teacher. Like anytime that I say, I'm going to do this thing, you're like, yeah, let's do the thing. And you set your own time at practice aside to work with me, and I appreciate it more than I can express. But I've seen you do it not just for me, you've done it for others as well. Anytime somebody is wanting to learn, you are more than happy to make time and space for them and go out of your way to teach them in a way that they are able to understand and improve. And those are pretty admirable qualities. And so we decided way back in, I don't know, December, maybe. I think it was December that you would be the commander of the Lynx for our reign.
Be it known unto all that we, Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of Atenveldt, have recognized the skill in the art of defense with the most elegant and virtuous rapier of one Conrad Bombast von Trittenheim, and do admit him as a commander of the Order of the Lynx, We further confer upon him a grant of arms, to with argent, a moth on a chief, sable 4 Tyler's nails argent. We charge him to teach all who would learn, so that our kingdom may be ably defended. Done this 2nd day of May, and the Societatis 55, being 2020 in the Common Era. Morgan Rex, Elizabeth Regina. 3 cheers for this new commander of the Lynx. Hip, hip.
Huzzah!
Hip, hip.
Huzzah!
Hip, hip.
Huzzah!
That's the end of the business we have for this court, but I still want to remind everybody that while we have to continue doing these things this way, look for the good in it. Everybody actually gets to see the scrolls now up close. You get to see and hear what's being said in court. But just like us, we hate not being together with all of our friends and family. So, but let's all continue to find ways to connect. And again, if you guys are struggling or you need a friend or you need anybody, feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you. And we'll get through this. Your Highnesses, did you have anything to add?
Our dogs too decided to join court today. So for those that haven't met him, Mochi and Bleddyn was on His Highness's lap for a while. They decided to use microphone 5 times. But I just want to say thank you for all the artists that continue to create scrolls for the kingdom. That Link scroll in particular was absolutely stunning. It caught my eye, and I tried to lean in to see more of it. So thank you to everyone who has shown up today and shared your time with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I thought we were actually, as we were watching, realized there were like 77, 80 people, something on this. So there's a ton of people here, and it's, at least on my side, makes us feel like this is worth it for people to come and enjoy and still have. You know, if we had like 3 or 4 people showing up, maybe it wouldn't be so cool. But thank you everybody for participating and being willing to, sorry, dogs are being dumb.
Or was that Talon being done?
You know what? Thank you, everyone. That's all I got.
So the one thing I would like to say in closing is we actually have been working with the crowns of several other kingdoms. Because things are so weird right now, we were looking for ways to recognize people who are working so hard to bring us all together, even when we can't be together. And so there is a recognition that's being worked on. There are medallions being made. There are scrolls being made that are so stinking cute. I love them. But we need names to put on those scrolls. So if there is someone who has really caught your eye as working hard to promote the Middle Ages really anachronistically across the interwebs, please send their names to us. We would very much like to recognize them. And yeah, they don't need to be here. They could be in any kingdom. Just let us know who, and we will make sure that they're recognized. Did you have anything else?
No, I think that you covered it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today.
This hereby closes the royal court of their majesties, Morgan and Elizabeth, King and Queen of Atenveldt. Long live the king.
Long live the king.
Long live the queen.
Long live the queen.
Long live the crown prince.
Long live the
Crown Prince.
Long live the crown princess.
Long live the crown princess.
Long live the sovereign lands of Atenveldt.
Long live the sovereign land. Huzzah!
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Majesties.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.